Have you ever set a goal with so much passion that you could feel it in your bones? Maybe it was to get in shape, start a business, ace an exam, or finally take control of your life. At that moment, the excitement felt unstoppable, like nothing could get in your way. You were determined. You saw a better version of yourself waiting on the other side of that goal, and you were ready to do whatever it took to reach it. But then life happened. The early fire that burned brightly inside you began to dim. You missed a day, then two, and then a week. Excuses crept in. Some so reasonable they didn't even feel like excuses. Maybe it was work, family, a lack of time, or just the overwhelming weight of everything else you had to juggle. Slowly, without even realizing it, the dream started to fade into the background. And one day, you woke up and realized you weren't even chasing it anymore. Why does this happen? Why is it that we start with such enthusiasm, only to lose it when it matters most? The truth is, it's not your fault entirely. You've been told over and over that motivation is all you need. That if you just believe in yourself, success will follow. And while there's some truth to that, it's far from the whole story. Because motivation is fleeting. It's like a matchstick, bright and hot for a moment but gone just as quickly. So what's missing? What's the thing that separates the people who achieve their goals from those who don't? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even hard work, at least not on its own. It's something deeper. It's the ability to stay consistent, to push forward even when the fire isn't there, and to keep going when the world seems determined to make you stop. But how do you do that? How do you stay consistent when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to quit? The answer is both simple and profound. You must create a system. A system so strong and deeply ingrained that it carries you forward even on your hardest days. You see, goals are nothing without the habits that fuel them. They're dreams without wings. And most people fail because they focus so much on the outcome that they forget to build the foundation needed to get there. Think about it. If your goal is to lose weight, the vision of a healthier body might inspire you for a while, but it won't make you go to the gym when you're exhausted after work. If your dream is to start a business, the thought of financial freedom might excite you at first, but it won't write the business plan, take the risks, or put in the late nights. Goals give you direction, but systems give you progress. And progress, no matter how small, is what keeps you moving forward. But here's the hard truth. Building systems isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's waking up early to write a single page when no one is watching. It's choosing the salad over the burger when you'd rather have fries. It's practicing that same move over and over again until your muscles ache and your mind begs you to stop. It's boring, repetitive, and often frustrating. But it works. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named John who had always dreamed of running a marathon. For years, he talked about it but never did anything. Then one day, he decided enough was enough. He set the goal, bought new running shoes, and hit the pavement. The first week was amazing. He felt alive, full of purpose. But by the second week, the enthusiasm was gone. His legs ached, the weather was cold, and he wanted to give up. That's when John made a decision that changed everything. Instead of focusing on the marathon itself, he decided to focus on running every day, no matter how far or how fast. Some days he ran a mile. Other days he barely made it around the block. But he kept going. And slowly, almost without realizing it, he became a runner. The marathon he once dreamed of became inevitable because he had built the habits to support it. This is the power of systems. They don't rely on willpower or motivation. They don't demand perfection. They're small, consistent actions that compound over time, creating results you never thought possible. And yet, most of us ignore this. We chase quick fixes and shortcuts, thinking there's an easier way. We set unrealistic expectations and beat ourselves up when we don't meet them. We let failure define us instead of learning from it. And worst of all, we convince ourselves that if we don't see results immediately, it means we're not good enough or that the goal isn't meant for us. But here's the truth. Success isn't about doing everything right all the time. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it seems like nothing is happening. Because every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you want to become. And here's where it gets even more important. The battle isn't just against your circumstances. It's against your own mind. Your brain is wired to seek comfort, to avoid pain, and to stay in the familiar. This is why change feels so hard. When you try to build a new habit or work toward a goal, your mind resists. It tells you that skipping one day won't matter, that starting tomorrow is just as good as today, or that maybe this isn't worth it after all. And most of the time, we believe it. We give in. Not because we're weak, but because we don't understand how powerful these subtle thoughts can be. They're like tiny drops of water eroding a rock. Not noticeable at first, but over time, they wear you down. That's why it's so crucial to have a system in place. Something that keeps you moving even when your mind tries to hold you back. Imagine this: you're standing at the base of a mountain. At the top lies the life you've always wanted, the goals you've dreamed of achieving. The climb is steep, the path is rocky, and the summit feels impossibly far away. Most people look up, feel overwhelmed, and decide to stay at the bottom. But what if, instead of focusing on the summit, you focused on taking one step, then another, and another? What if, instead of worrying about how far you have to go, you just concentrated on putting one foot in front of the other? This is the essence of a system. It breaks the journey into manageable pieces. It shifts your focus from the overwhelming what-ifs to the actionable what-nows. And before you know it, those tiny steps add up. The climb gets easier. The summit gets closer. And one day, you find yourself standing at the top, not because you were extraordinary, but because you refused to stop. But there's another piece to this puzzle, something even more powerful than systems: your why. Without a strong reason for what you're doing, even the best system will eventually falter. Your why is the fire that keeps you going when the road gets tough. It's the anchor that grounds you when life tries to pull you away. And it has to be deeply personal. Maybe your why is to provide a better life for your family, to prove to yourself that you're capable, or to leave a legacy that inspires others. Whatever it is, it needs to be something that resonates with you on a soul-deep level. Because when you have a strong why, you can endure almost any how. Take a moment to think about it. What's your why? What's the thing that will keep you moving when motivation is gone, when the system feels hard, and when every part of you wants to give up? Write it down. Say it out loud. Keep it close to you, because there will be days when you'll need to remind yourself why you started. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: failure. No matter how disciplined you are, how strong your system is, or how deeply connected you are to your why, you will fail. You'll miss days. You'll make mistakes. You'll feel like you're back to square one. And that's okay. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Think of failure as a teacher. Every time you fall, you learn something. You learn what doesn't work, what you need to improve, and what you're truly capable of. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who get back up every time they do. They don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. And this is where most people struggle. They see failure as proof that they're not good enough, that they don't have what it takes. But the truth is, failure is proof that you're trying. It's a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself towards something greater. So embrace it, learn from it, and keep going. There's a beautiful Japanese art form called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The idea is that the cracks and imperfections become part of the object's story, making it even more beautiful and valuable than before. This is how you need to see yourself and your journey. Your failures, your setbacks, your struggles. They're not things to hide or be ashamed of. They're the gold that makes you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So the next time you set a goal, remember this: it's not about being perfect. It's not about never falling or always having the answers. It's about showing up day after day and doing the work, no matter how small. It's about building systems that support your dreams and staying connected to the deeper purpose behind them. And it's about understanding that failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of growth. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You start to believe in yourself. Not in a superficial, motivational quote kind of way, but in a deep, unshakable way. You realize that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. That the limits you thought existed were only in your mind. and that the life you've always wanted isn't just a dream. It's a reality waiting for you to create it. And here's the final piece of the puzzle. Consistency isn't just about the actions you take. It's about the person you become. Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, no matter how small, you're casting a vote for the person you want to be. You're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who doesn't quit. I'm the kind of person who shows up. I'm the kind of person who makes things happen. Over time, these small actions add up. They reshape your identity. You go from someone who sets goals and hopes to achieve them to someone who achieves goals because it's who you are. And that shift, that's where the magic happens. Because once you believe in your core that you're capable, unstoppable, and resilient, there's nothing you can't do. But let's be real, this journey isn't easy. It's going to test you in ways you can't imagine. There will be days when the road feels endless, when progress seems invisible, and when every part of you wants to give up. And in those moments, you'll be faced with a choice: to let the difficulty defeat you or to let it define you. Remember this: every step forward, no matter how small, is a step closer to your dreams. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you push through when it's hard, every time you refuse to give up, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of greatness. And the best part? This isn't just about achieving your goals. It's about who you become in the process. It's about becoming someone who faces challenges head-on, who learns from failure, and who refuses to settle for anything less than their best. It's about building a life you're proud of, not just because of what you've accomplished, but because of the strength, resilience, and character you've developed along the way. So, if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start, stop waiting. There's no such thing as the perfect time. The only time you have is now. Take that first step. Build your system. Stay connected to your why. And when the road gets tough, remind yourself that the struggle is what makes the journey worthwhile. Your goals will fail if you rely only on motivation, but they will succeed if you commit to the process, embrace the challenges, and refuse to give up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up every single day and do the work. And before you go, if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Together, let's inspire and empower each other to become the best versions of ourselves. Thank you for watching. Now go out there and make it happen.